Hi everyone, today we're going to look at how to draw Millwork shop drawings. Let's walk through a project together to show you how to speed up the process using Rayon design templates and styles. You can grab this template for free through the link in our description, and if you're new to Rayon, you can also find a 10-minute introduction video down below. Let's get started and go to a browser and type in rayon.design, where you can get a free account or simply sign in. After signing in from the Rayon dashboard, you can choose one of the templates that are pre-made by the Rayon team, or we can just go and create a new model, which we will do in our case. Perfect. And before we start drawing, I'm going to go to the settings on the Rayon side and change the length units to millimeters. As we're going to be working with details, this is what I'm going for. Next, we're going to go back to the dashboard, and you can go to templates and choose a template for Millworks. Go and select this kitchen cabinet detail. Great. Here is a kitchen Millwork template, and it already includes great hatches, cabinetry, faucets, and other wonderful objects. Let's start by selecting it all. Right click and copy as export, and then let's head back to our new model. We just right click and paste in place, and you can shift Z to automatically zoom in. So this can be the base template for our kitchen drawings. We're going to start by plan, elevation, and then a section. Let's start with this kitchen countertop, and I'm going to also include the elevation right away here, so kind of give us a guide. And also we want to extend the countertop, and I'm going to place it just next to it here. Also, I'm going to go to the bottom bar and go to guide, because I want to create the guide, and I'm going to change it to a vertical. Let's create a guideline here and also here. It'll be easier to draw, and we can add more guidelines as we go. Now we can just zoom in, double click to edit the block. We can move this away, click on it, select the lines, and you just drag it to this corner. Oh, we're gonna fix this. No, well, now it's perfectly aligned. Grab this edge and just drag it for it to fit. Perfect. Now I'm done. As simple as that. And we can also create another guide just in the middle here. As what I'm going to do now, put a rectangle here, which will be representation of this cupboard. I can just go and execute this. Then we can maybe even pull it out a little bit. And also what we're going to do is we're going to create a handle, which we could see from the top. 20 millimeters. Yeah, perfect. And even go and offset this inwards at maybe 30 millimeters. Perfect. Yes, just like that. Just to create some space on the edges. Perfect. And to be honest, we can even take this and extend this a little bit. As typically cupboard would be around say 60 by 65 centimeters. That's perfect. I'm gonna go and actually create a new style. Take this and make it a bit lighter, almost too light. This is perfect. And I'm just gonna go and save style as garage line 1. Excellent. Starting to look good. And also what I'm gonna do is, as we can have cupboards on above the countertop, I'm also gonna draw a rectangle with a dashed line. And typically what you draw in dashed line, it indicates that it is something above the countertop in this case. Typically cupboards would be like 360 millimeters from the wall. And what we're gonna do is, let's go and find under these 4 dots, if we can find a dashed line. Here it is. but what we're going to do is we're going to maybe edit this dashed line and give it a lighter tone. Oops, it's not even look like it's dashed. And it's a quick stroke, and under the dashed we can even increase the spacing between the lines. Yeah, this looks perfect. And now we have cupboards above. And what we're going to do next, we're going to add a wall. Let's go to wall tool, and let's change it to it's going to be a 200 millimeter thick wall, and we can make it dark, and the stroke would be just simply black. And let's go and save it. Let's edit style, because we're going to rename it wall style 1, and we're going to make sure that it's controlled from the bottom outwards. Yeah, perfect. So what I'm going to do is create a wall of like size. Yeah, that's looking good. And also, because the wall continues, I'm going to add break lines from the template here. You just drag one, hold Alt and drag it out. And basically, break line is like a zigzag or jagged line that cuts through a continuous object. And in our case, it's just running through the wall, showing that it's continuous. And we're just going to flip it vertically, and then also horizontally. Yeah, great. Also, let's go and include a plan of a window. In our template, there's only a section and an elevation. So what we can do is go to blocks, go to library, and type window. Block family. In block families, usually you can find elevation, sections, and plan windows. And we're just going to take one and drag it in here. Okay, what I want to do is first double check so it's going to fit perfectly in the same size, so we have it consistent across the whole drawing. And we can just take it and drag it in here, and it automatically beautifully snaps into place. Also, we can add a line here that represents that the wall is continuous, and we can add and give it a style, and we're just going to give it like a light gray tone. Yeah, it's looking great. Let me go and add the final details. Let's start with these section cuts, because we're going to be adding a section. We just copy it here and turn it right, because we will cut it just over the sink, and we're going to be looking in this direction as the arrows indicate. Okay, place it just like this. Yeah, this is perfect. We can even take this and move it up a little bit. There's a space. Take these and copy another one, and right click to unblock it. It will double click on A and change it to B, so it's going to be section BB. That would be running through the cupboards itself this time. Let's add it. Let's call Alt, and we can place a label right under the kitchen. We can double click on it and rename it. We can call it flat. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, let's move on with the next one, and we can start by drawing a foundation slab. We're gonna go to rectangle, and we're gonna draw it again roughly the same size as we did before. Perfect. And let's just drag it here in the middle. And we can go to style, and let's add it one of the styles. And this copy grade is perfect. And also we can just take these break lines and drag them up and copy them to indicate again, once again, the floor is continuous. Next, we will add a splashback if you're in the UK, or a backsplash if you're in the US. It's just this kind of protection from the water and cooking in general, right? We will make it. Yeah, this is good. Now it's actually a good time to place the window. If we click CC, you just take the window and place it perfectly here as it nicely snaps. And for next part, I want to draw a wall and some cupboards on the top. What I'm going to do is create some dimensions, and I'm going to go to annotation line. The standard clearance between countertop and upper cabinet is roughly around 500 millimeters, but we will give it 700 as an extra clearance for our imaginary stovetop. And we're going to do another one, which is 400. Yeah, perfect. Let's select the rectangle tool, and now with these dimension guidelines in place, we can draw the painted wall and upper cabinetries. Yeah, perfect. How we remove these for now, so we don't need them anymore. Also, we can add the line here, create a division between these two cupboards. You can go ahead and maybe add some hatch to the splashback. We'll go replace all and try to find. We put this, perfect. We're gonna copy it and paste it in place, and then we're gonna add it another hatch, which is the stony terrazzo. Perfect, it's looking beautiful. Go and add hatch to this one as well, and we would need something like a paint, like a wooden paint. Looking great, beautiful. And next we're gonna add a wooden texture here. Wood, yeah, perfect. And let's copy these and paste them again as copy in place, so to add like a more of a natural wooden texture. Wooden hatch, yes, fantastic, looks great. We can actually go to template and also add these sockets. Here in the corner. You don't need double. Yeah, I think it's looking great. Before we animate this slab, let me add these door swing indicators, which are typically represented as these angled lines extending from the hinge side of the cabinet. And we can also draw them here on the top here. Perfect. And let's do that again here and here. Perfect. So we know, as you can see here as well, same these do the hinges on the top and on the right hand side. Okay, let's also create more detail into the slab. And what we're going to do is going to create a rectangle tool to create sort of a floor finish. Yeah, perfect. And we're going to go in and floor tiles. Perfect. We can actually go and CC, copy it, and we can do the same with this. We can extend it all the way to the end, and we're going to give it a beton kind of concrete texture, which would be, no, not this one per se, this one's a bit too harsh. Let's give it some kind of like a lighter aggregate concrete look. Yes, perfect. And we'll place also the layer for these, and let's put them into default. I'll also go to a default layer, and we can actually change this to this kind of harsher concrete, or we would call it a screed. it's quite difficult to have like a concrete screed running above the concrete slab, as where you would put also maybe floor heating. But yeah, this is looking great. Let's move on to section, and we can start out by just taking these lines and copying it over here. Actually, do not. Oh, we can perhaps leave it here and get rid of these. Also, what I'm going to do is copy the plan and paste it here. I'm going to ungroup it as we're going to use it as a guide, and then just turn it at 90 degrees. Yeah, perfect. We can actually go to guide and create another one here, and roughly here. Yeah, perfect. Let me take the cupboard CC and just bring it into the join. Perfect. I will set that and just take a, while I'm here, might as well grab a tap and also grab the sink. Change this line to maybe something like that. Perfect. We'll tweak it in a second. But anything else from this side? No, this is perfect. What we can do now is create a guidelines also running horizontally. Let the guides. Oh. Let me change their annotation so it's above. And one last one here. Perfect. You can go on and you can start with a splashback, as it will give us the height of the wall before the window. Let's go here and to 25. Yeah, perfect. And also I'm gonna draw with a polyline. I'm gonna draw a side splash. Okay. Next, let's draw the wall. Let's start with, go to rectangle tool. I'm gonna change it to default. And draw here perhaps a gypsum board. This would be 20. Okay, create a concrete slab. Should be around 85 millimeters. Then we can create a vapor barrier, and finally we will just add here on a layer for the insulation. Well, typically you would also include a couple more layers, a drainage cavity and a brick or stone facade, but this is okay for now. Let me go select the concrete wall. Let's go and change the gray. I'm going to copy it and paste it in place and give it another layer of this concrete texture. Yes, perfect. And to get the insulation texture for a hatch, we're going to draw a simple straight line and go to style and type in insulation. Perfect. And voila, as simple as that. Because this already was part of the template, so we do not need to go and create it or search for it. What I'm going to do now is draw like a small finish to the wall as well. And I will just do color higher. Perfect. And you want to, I would like it to be like almost like a terrazzo tile finish. And this time I can actually add a fill to texture And under the patterns, we can select terrazzo. Perfect. That looks great. Next up, we can actually bring in the window from our template. We're gonna copy it. We're gonna go align it with this, and we're just gonna drag it to the top. Perfect. And what we can do now is actually just show finish to the wall from this point. We can just give it this fill, hatch, and terrazzo. Beautiful. So I'm gonna take these layers that we just created and copy, double C, and put it here. Perfect. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna shrink it to match the height of the wall. Next, what we can do, which would be fantastic, we're gonna just steal this hatch from the elevation, CC, copy it, and go here, and fix it here. And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna delete these, we do not need them, and we're just gonna drag it and resize it from the edges. And this way, we have saved ourselves some time in creating these cupboards, as we have already done that here. Yeah, perfect. It's starting to look great. Next is actually what I can do next is get rid of some of these guidelines, and I'm going to draw like some straight lines here, just to indicate the continuation of the floor. And we can just get rid of these. We do not need them anymore. And perfect outcome. So I'm gonna just get rid of this. I'll edit this, and I'm gonna ungroup it, and we're just gonna simply get rid of the things, because this cupboard is completely different than what we have. Delete. And let's rearrange it a little bit. Resize this as well, and the support for the side and we as well. Yeah, it's extra support over there. And you don't have to delete these doors because they're not the same. Just double click on it, select these points, and just drag to the bottom. So I'll just copy this and create a shelf roughly around 20 centimeters above. And let's maybe align it to the sink and giving it a little bit more space. Yeah, perfect. So what I'm going to do next is kind of create a faucet. This faucet needs a pipe. Go to shapes, panel underneath, and it's like a curve tool. And we're just going to draw the faucet pipe just like this. Perfect. And I'm going to go and offset it. This is perfect. Just an indication that it is connected, attached to some water source as well. And I think it is looking pretty great. And the next step what we can do is start adding some annotations. I'm gonna take this and copy here, and also do the same over here. And I'm gonna rename this one. As this was section AA, you're gonna go and rename it as such as well. Cabinet section AA. And this is some reason these did not copy over. We can fold it and perfect. Now it looks better. And use scaled. Perfect. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna annotate the joint. So we gotta take an arrow and create it here, and we're gonna change the annotation layer and change it to rounded, something that is a little bit more elegant. You can extend it a little bit and add some text annotation here as well. You gotta call it upper cabinet, and I'm just gonna link it to the bottom. And sometimes we can also make it much smaller. Maybe we're gonna do 70. Now we can select annotation text and arrow and hold out and duplicate it 5 more times. Upon ringing, then also on pull down all sets. Go files. Work. And lastly, adjustable shop. Perfect. I'm gonna just make this text a little bit smaller. I think perhaps maybe 60, and pull it up a little bit and extend these. It's much better, just to give it some space to breathe. Now what we're gonna get into is dimensions. Luckily, we already have in template a beautiful set of dimension styles. We can see copy default dimensions. Okay, perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with this section. Go to dimensions and annotations, replace all, and we're gonna copy this style. A good rule of thumb: dimension the important edges and not just decorative ones. And we can avoid overloading our section with redundant dimensions. We want this to stay clean and readable. And dimensions are more than just numbers. These are all tied to ergonomics and standard kitchen guidelines. For instance, a countertop are typically set around 900 millimeters or 36 inches high, which is comfortable for most tasks. And what we're doing here is make sure every component is measurable, buildable, and clearly understood by anyone who is not a designer, like a client or a carpenter, when we're handing over these millwork drawings. Yeah, perfect. That looks quite good. And we can go and do the same for this as well. And then do one more just scale on. Yeah, I think this looks quite neat. And I think this is looking very good. It's almost like all of it shipped Z to zoom in, have a good overview of. Of course, we can go and create a 1 to 2 or 1 to 5 details, but for this tutorial, I will just copy and paste it from the before, and then just simply position it here, and yeah, you just go and organize it a little bit so it's going there and in line, so it aligns perfectly with everything else. So I think this is looking great. Let me maybe go and remove people this 1.4. Let's double click on the text and let's do 1.1. 1.2. Okay. Let's go to page, and we're just going to add new page or from here. And this is a A4 page. I think it looks great. We can even maybe make it A3 here on the right side on word format. Now I think A4 is good, and we'll just keep it at the landscape. Yeah, it's perfect. So what I'm going to show you next is I'm going to export these drawings. We can go to the menu on the left hand side and go to export. We can export it as a PDF, DWG, or even an image file. Yet, let's export a PDF. And let's go all pages. A preview window will pop up. Here with the magnifier, you can peek into different parts of the drawing and double check the line width, colors, and even fixed clarity. If needed, you can adjust the advanced settings as well, like the stroke weight, or switch to a PNG if you like. But I'm kind of happy with how it sits, so we can go simply and hit export. And here is how you can create Millwork drawings for your architecture or interior design projects. If you'd like to try it out yourself, don't forget to grab the template and explore Rayon design using the link in the description. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss a new video from us. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments below and we'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.